Oxford, the Dreaming Spires from South Park, one of two locations where I spent the majority of my Britpop weekends. As Luke Haynes said in Love Letter to London, they said that they loved you, but they used you as a playground when they were young. In December 1943, I had the good fortune, whilst parachuting, to incur a minor injury, which afforded me a short break from active military service. Obviously, I'm not talking about myself here, because that would make me lots older even than you think I am, and also it would mean that I'd been in the army, which clearly I wasn't, was I? Although I was in the Royal Engineers for a bit, and they used to put us in the hall and make us watch this rubbish film about the Royal Marines. Anyway, I digress. Right, the point being, I'm quoting from the foreword to Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh. And just as Brighton resounds with Patrick Hamilton's footsteps, and Sheffield is shot through with the asymmetrical profile of Philip Oakey, every time I come here, I am forced to declare Evelyn Waugh upon it. The Headington Shark, or to give it its proper title, Untitled 1986. It does look a bit like 1986, at least my 1986, but the less said about that the better. It's meant to express feelings of impotence, convey ideas about CND, Chernobyl, Nagasaki. A planning battle ensued, of course, and Oxford City Council offered to host it at a local swimming pool. It reminds me of lots of things. The dreams I have where similar animals crash into the rooftops all along the street. The physical impossibility of death in The Mind Living by Damien Hirst, and therefore the front cover of How the Dead Live by Will Self. But most of all, it reminds me of the classic film Great Lost Dinosaurs of the West Midlands by Dan Cummings. I haven't made it yet, but don't worry kids, I'm on it. Modern Oxford, looming at the end of the road by the station car park, rakishly different to modern Stourbridge, and modern a lot of other places for that matter. So, re the Headington Shark. You wouldn't fancy anything like that sticking out the top of your house then, Harris?
No.
Really? Well, what about if you had to have something, what would it be?
Yeah, in keeping with the Oxford theme, I think I'd probably have Mark Gardner from Ride on the guitar, staring down at his shoes, long fringe, you know, sort of, yes, basically, yeah.
Quite apt.
Look at that, it's like a little Silbury Hill, isn't it?
Oh, so you're going to start the comments off now, are you? So that's how it's going to be, is it? tried to see it through the eyes of the un-English. It's exactly what it should be, a culmination of the Cotswolds, the Oxfordshire and Warwickshire Cotswolds in particular. Quite a few people, Bill Bryson amongst them, have criticised it for its commercialism. I think that's one of the things I love about it, the way that it shrugs all that off so easily, the top mans and the top shops, and still presents you effortlessly with that little low wall that Evelyn Waugh found, through which you seek that other life, that architectural wonderland. Last time I was up here, I was discussing Simon Le Bon's outfit in the video for A View to a Kill. It's still never far from my thoughts. Second best Bond theme, of course, as well.
Behind the Living Daylights, I assume you're saying?
Absolutely. I love this street. It's not the most architecturally distinguished bit of Oxford. That's just a little bit further up the way. But it seems to encapsulate everything that there is here. That bit in Brideshead that struck such a chord with me, that idea of finding the low door in the wall that opened onto an enclosed and enchanted garden, not overlooked by any window, in the heart of that grey city. All of that. I used to think that Brideshead was his crowning achievement, Evelyn Waugh. So much good stuff in it, like the business of Lord Marchmain trying to suppress his Byronic aura. Fabulous. But then I read his diaries and found that as a 4-year-old he'd been taken to Hampstead Fair and enjoyed it so much that when his father suggested it was time to go home, he rolled on the floor, beating his fists on the grass, shouting, "You brute, you beast, you hideous ass." I think that's probably his crowning achievement. It's so human, that is, isn't it? It seems to sum up the whole human condition. Being dragged away from something just as you are really beginning to enjoy it.
Makes you feel a bit like Judy Obscure, doesn't it?
Why?
But I think I'd be the stonemason rather than the scholar.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
No.
You remember those Magic Eye pictures that became popular in the mid-90s? Where you had to kind of look at a grainy background and then suddenly a brontosaurus or the Empire State Building or a big horrible spider would jump out at you. Well, my relationship with Oxford is very much like that. It was like I just wasn't looking at it properly before. I visited it as a child and as a young man, and it didn't move me. Then all of a sudden, in my mid-20s, it leapt out at me and grabbed me and knocked me sideways. It moves me now. I applied to Oxford in 1989. I didn't get in, of course. But I often wonder what it would have made of me. Would I have reacted against it? Become the entrenchedly working class hero? Or would I have bathed indolently in the academia like Sebastian Flight? Either way, we'll never know now. I have no choice but, as Philip Larkin said, to turn to face the way that led me to this day. The Museum of Natural History, designed by Irish architects Thomas Newnham Dean and Benjamin Woodward, opened in 1860. And adjoining it below me is the Pitt Rivers Museum, probably the best free museum in the world. Totem poles and tribal shields and shrunken heads and a huge multifarious miscellany of supremely stirring objects. It was also where, during the culmination of the great debate on Darwinism, Wilberforce delivered his killer question, was it on your grandmother or your grandfather's side that you are descended from an ape? It always reminds me of that great scene in Escape from Planet of the Apes, where the Board of Inquiry asks Zira if the other one can talk, and Roddy McDowall interjects with, only when she lets me. There's some lovely pubs in Oxford too, and the best of them echo that sense of the door in the low wall, down the rabbit hole, through the cracks, and into another day. The Bear, Oxford, the pub that single-handedly inspired me to collect ties.
Oh, really?
Yeah?
How come?
Because, if my memory serves me correctly, they adorn the walls in glass cases and inspired me to instigate a similar practice in my flat in Stourbridge.
All right. So this is you in your natural environment, I guess, then, isn't it? Surrounded by ties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some Britpop British Legion.
That's good, that is, actually, Harris. It's really good. Do you want me to go and get something to eat, and I'll take the rest of the day off and you carry on from here?
Yeah, I've got it from here, mate. Yep. Go on.
I was joking.
No, go on, you get off. I'll wrap it up.